Wednesday FA Cup, Manchester City will be up against Chelsea, a match which will be played at Etihad Stadium. You remember that Manchester City are the current holders of the FA Cup trophy which they won last season, and they will be up against Mauricio Pochettino's side, which will be Chelsea, and the team which will win between Manchester City and Chelsea will be meeting the other semi-finalists that will be in the final if we manage to get the results between Manchester United and Coventry, a match which will be played at Old Trafford. And many pundits and many bookmakers are pitting either Chelsea and Manchester City to meet Manchester United in the finals of this year's showpiece, that is the 2023-2024 FA Cup final, of course, which will be played in the famous Wembley Stadium. And it's going to be a cracker of a match between Jurgen Klopp Chargers and Mauricio Pochettino. Remember that this is the first season for Mauricio Pochettino being at the helm at Stamford Bridge. Well, at the moment, we see that Manchester City is really doing well in the English Premier League, because currently they are holding that first spot on the log, and they are still at the summit of the English Premier League. Contrast to Chelsea from this season, and we see that Chelsea is not really doing really well in the English Premier League, because at the moment Chelsea are holding that 9th spot. Because now it's going to be the first spot, which is Manchester City against Chelsea, which is currently holding that 9th spot in the English Premier League. Of course, Pep Guardiola is coming into this match a very disappointed man after being eliminated in the UEFA Champions League quarter-finals. They were eliminated by Real Madrid in the penalty shootout, and we saw that the likes of Bernardo Silva and Mateo Kovacic missing their penalties in that match. And of course, Chelsea on the other side managed to see off Everton by 6 goals to nil, and the scorers for Chelsea in that match, you could see that Palmer managed to get a hat-trick for himself in that match. A very informed player, Palmer, coming into this match against Manchester City. And on the other hand, we see that Erling Haaland, the leading top scorer for Manchester City, has been really struggling this season, which is very different compared to Palmer's form this season, because the young Englishman Palmer has been scoring goals for fun compared to Manchester City. And of course, Mauricio Pochettino will be chasing his first trophy in England, and of course his first silverware for Chelsea. Remember that Mauricio Pochettino has lost so many finals in this career, and he'll be eyeing this FA Cup between Manchester City to make it to the final. And of course, if he gets to the final, then all is possible for him. And Manchester City will be playing at home, a very dangerous ground for any team to go and play Manchester City and come out victors, because they have a very good record at Etihad Stadium. Remember that when the season started, that Pep was in for a quadruple, that is 5 trophies, but now he can only lift 2, because when he was eliminated in the UEFA League, Champions League, he remained with the only English Premier League and the FA Cup. And as we know, Pep Guardiola is a serial winner, and maybe he can decide to go all the way for the FA Cup and try to win that match. Well, let's go and look at the journey between the two teams, that is Manchester City and Chelsea, coming into this match. We saw that Chelsea managed to eliminate Newcastle United by 2 goals to nil, and the goals were scored by Bernardo Silva. That gave them a ticket to qualify, of course, in the quarter, to make it so far in the semi-finals of this year's competition. And on the other side, we saw that Chelsea managed to defeat Leicester City, and it was a high-scoring match, and it took Chelsea more than 90 minutes to manage to eliminate Leicester City in that competition. And of course, the scorers for Chelsea were Cucurella, Palmer, Chukwuemeka, and of course Madueke. That is the journey that Chelsea has managed to make it into this year's showcase to determine their destiny between Manchester City, a match which is going to be a very lively match for both teams. But many are pitting Pep Guardiola to go all the way and defend his title. But on the other side, we see that Chelsea is no pushover, and as we have seen it twice in the first leg of this, in the English Premier League, that happened just recently. In the first leg, Chelsea managed to hold Manchester City by holding Manchester City by 4 goals, and Manchester City was scoring and Chelsea somehow managing to find their way back, and they went on the way to frustrate Chelsea to a 4-4 draw. And in the second leg, it was no different, and the match ended also in a stalemate of 2 goals to nil. So it's going to be a very interesting match, very different brand of football between the two tacticians, that is Mauricio Pochettino, and of course his nemesis, that is Pep Guardiola. And fatigue may just creep in for Manchester City, because they've managed to play a very difficult team against a very strong Real Madrid setup, and Manchester City were eliminated in that match. And Chelsea on the other side, we see that Chelsea has not had any midweek match coming into these fixtures. So between the two teams, we see that Chelsea is much fresher compared to Manchester City, because Manchester City may be having maybe tired legs after running more than 90 minutes against Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League. But as you know, as I said earlier, Pep is a go-getter, and he has a very big squad which he can really rotate, and at the moment he has a very full fit squad to choose from a pool of players that may go all the way and face Chelsea in this year's showpiece of the semi-finals. And the two teams that are also watching on the sidelines, of course, is Manchester and Coventry. They'll be trying to see which team they will be meeting if they do manage to make it into the finals of this year's competition. And after having so many teams, we had 8, and now we have the 4 best of the best. And when we are done with the FA Cup semi-finals, then we'll be having 2 of the best to face it out in the finals of this year's competition. That is look at the setup that these two tacticians are going to use, or the setup that these two tacticians are going to adapt coming this match. We've seen that Pep Guardiola has a very flexible 4-3-3 kind of formation, but the formation that Mauricio Pochettino normally uses is a 4-2-3-1 formation, which is rather a bit defensive compared to Manchester City 4-3-3 kind of formation. And we are going to see how these two teams are going to settle. And I think the team that will really settle fast, especially in the midfield, is going to have a very good game coming into this match, and it's going to be a midfield battle between the likes of Enzo Fernandez and Moise Caicedo, between the likes of Rodrigo and Kevin De Bruyne. And at the up front, of course, we have the evergreen Haaland, and for Chelsea we have Jackson, who's going to try to get those goals for Chelsea to make it into the finals of this year's showpiece. And of course, Pep Guardiola, as we are used to him, he likes playing a very attractive brand of football, which is tiki-taka kind of football, compared to Mauricio Pochettino, which mostly absorb the pressure, then try to hit their opponents on the counter attack. And we are going to see if Chelsea may try also to build from the back, then transition to the midfield, and of course in the attack, because that is what Manchester City is going to do. But if Mauricio Pochettino is going to flip his game a bit, then he's going to give Pep Guardiola some headache in his 4-3-3 setup. And of course, if these two teams manage to get a winner, and of course compared to the other fixtures, which some are saying that Manchester City has an easier fixtures, because many are believing that Manchester United are going to eliminate Coventry in the other semi-finals. And we are yet to see if it's going to be another Manchester derby if Manchester City managed to eliminate Chelsea and Manchester United managed to eliminate Coventry on the other side. Of course, we are going to have another Manchester derby between Manchester City and Manchester United. Remember that so far the two teams have met and Manchester City have gone ahead and won all the two Manchester derby, but we are yet to see how things will unfold between these two fixtures. And of course, it's going to be a very big game for both teams, that is Manchester City and Chelsea, and of course Mauricio Pochettino and Pep Guardiola. And we only have time to tell on which team is going to make it all the way into the finals of this year's Showbiz FA Cup. And let's brace ourselves for a very tough match. Well, I've been your able host Molo Collins, and let's do this again next time when we do meet. Remember to view, like, subscribe and share, and also drop a comment on the comment section. Let's get interactive across all social media platforms, and I'll be keeping tabs on all the matches in the FA Cup final, of course, which is Manchester United and Coventry. And on Facebook, I'm at Molo Collins. View, like, subscribe and share, and also tell a friend to tell a friend so that he may subscribe to this channel. Of course, this is Sportwell TV, your #1 leading sports channel. As for me and the rest of my crew, it's bye-bye for now. Let's do this again next time.